So in the uniqueness that we are, and when we talk about operating in the principality of who we are created to be, rules.
Applying the principles or the action steps that's going to require for you to change, because that part we can't do for you. That part you're going to have to do yourself.
Build $1,000,000 legacy with purpose.
This is our first one, and I'm excited about that, right?
So you have no idea. I am so...
I do. I think I do. Because if it's half as much as me, girl, ma'am, Miss
Girl, it's going to be amazing.
This next level. Yeah.
Oh, next level. Yes, it is going to be so next level. So I was going through some stuff. I'm like, it goes back to, and I'm so sure you're familiar with this. It goes back to disruption always follows intention. And I kid you not, it's been at least 12 years since I've lost my voice.
Well,
at minimum, it's been 12 years. And I kept saying, no, you're not doing this, and you're not doing this, right? So we've been fighting. Girl.
But you know what? Okay,
we've been fighting. We have been fighting. And I'm like, I'm going to do it. I am so competitive. I'm like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Like, if you wasn't my partner, my co-host, girl, I would have been all up in there. Like, look, this is what happens when you set an intention. This is what happens, because we have a word, and the evil one doesn't want us to get you that word. And I am like, I'm doing this. I'm like so competitive.
Oh, but you know what came to me? There's a couple of things that you just said that I'm just like, wait, what? In a good way. So first of all, when you said, like we both just said, like major, super beyond excited about this whole thing, right? So
Yes.
that, right?
Yes.
So of course, and we both operate in a very spiritual, Christ consciousness. If somebody, whatever somebody else do, that's them. But that's what we know, what we operate.
That's what we know. That's what we do. Yes.
So that part. And then I'm giggling because we both are strong-willed, we both are competitive, and we both are winners. And so, one of the things that has been very, very present that I understand is that words have power, right?
Girl, yes.
So okay.
Power.
And
yes.
So I have been sensing like, wow, this principality that you're and your sister will be working in is going to, excuse me, is already next level. So both of us have this tendency to focus the control that we have.
Yes.
And the thing I just heard you say, sister, is I've been battling with this. I've been like, no. But I'm like, wait, hold on. Why are you back? You just surrender into it, and you let it be a soft whisper, and watch what happens. It releases, right?
Oh,
because
yes.
The devil is a liar. And if you want to capture somebody's attention, whisper.
Ooh, yes, I like. Oh, yes.
You see what I'm saying?
That is a principle. You're right. You are so right.
So instead of pushing and grasping, and the other thing that's so interesting, because when we were talking, because whether we talk in text or whether we talking in person or whatever, and you asked me, what is my favorite color, right? And so I was laughing because I said, wow, if anybody were to go according to the color I always have in my sweets, it's always a mint green.
Okay.
But that is because in the energy cycle world, in the body, the color green is the heart. but my favorite color is blue. Most shades of blue. And what is the blue is the throat chakra, right? And then now my sister is saying,
Oh my
you see what I'm
goodness.
saying? And if you probably think back to when you asked me that, that's when your throat started going. And you
Girl,
remember,
well, you know what? You know what? Y'all need to hear this. You know what? When I asked you that question, actually, that's when it had hit its height, gotten its worst. You know, it had hit the height of being bad. Like yesterday, I could not talk this much. So for you to share, girl, as a practitioner, for you
yeah,
to share that with me,
yes,
it
yes,
is, it's just, it makes sense. It
yes.
makes sense.
And
Oh,
see, and then the level of what we're operating in, this is to show you just how powerful, okay, the principality, the consciousness, and working with energy and sharing on this type of platform, when it comes in, it snuck you. Because you heard you see what I just said. I said, wait, are we recording? Hold on, we need to record this because
yeah,
this
this
is
is good. This
this
is
is
good.
principle in action.
Yes, this is principle in action. You know, I'm actually so glad you said that part, principle in action, because I was just going over some notes that I was going to talk about today. And what I realized is, part of image has to do with immorality, right? Or morality, either one or the other. But if you're talking about immorality means that we are born imperfectly, right? First and foremost, everybody needs to know that part. We are born like imperfectly, and we are conditioned to live by rules. But as I was going over my notes, that hit me because we are supposed to be living by principle because rules are changeable. So if you want to have some type of progression to a higher levels in your life and create the life that you really love, you're going to have to be more perceptive of principles and begin to dismantle the rules, which is more in alignment. Oh my God, which is more in alignment with immorality. And that's when I was like, when you just said that, I had just went over some of my notes and that's what it said. Because to be more in alignment with the image of God, they said morality, functionality, and substance needs to
Mhm.
be in place. Substance meaning a firm foundation of belief, morality, good behavior, um, good and bad behavior, the difference between the two, you need to know the difference between the two. And functionality, do you actually operate by the principles that God has in place in the Bible?
That's good. Without that is very good. And see, you breaking it down and giving it, this is the beauty,
Girl, I was ready. Listen, y'all.
right?
I
Well,
was ready today. I had even looked up, I like the etymological root meaning of the word image, which is
mhm.
a Latin image is coming from a Latin word imago, which means an unconditioned, unconscious, it's an unconscious way of seeing yourself based on like others. And you use that others' behavior, you take that on to yourself unconsciously, and you use those ways to influence other people, but they are not your ways.
And that's where I was getting ready to go with all of this, because
Girl!
everything that you were just saying, if we break that thing down, all of what you just said, not that thing, but the principles and the quote unquote rules, right?
Yeah.
But the thing that we have to remember, we are made in the image of God, right? The
Yes,
beautiful thing about each and every one of us, contrary to some's belief, but the uniqueness that we have comes from our soul. Okay?
yes, yeah.
So
That's
if we
that's our fingerprint. That's our soul print. That's our
That
soul print. Like
is so
each of us have a different one.
right. And so in the uniqueness that we are, and when we talk about operating in the principality of who we are created to be, rules are one thing, commandments are a guideline. So if we follow in that order, or if we pay attention in that order, right?
Mm.
Then when we get other rules or other principles, because when you hear the rule, when you hear the word principle, right? That goes, oh, well, what is that? Unless in middle school or in elementary school, you were one that had a problem with a principle, a,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So anytime that there are guidelines, or I would even say instructions
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
on how to live this thing called life,
Yes.
whether you want to live it your own way, or whether you want to follow an easier way, which is living it in a God conscious way, we oftentimes can complicate things, right? By pushing against what we feel is a rule or a regulation, something that just with what's going on right now. We talked about this platform. Now, when we did the last interview, right, it just flowed. It was easy. It was cool. We said, let's do it. Let's go. And it flowed. Now, we have met twice. We didn't talk. We sending emails. We doing all the things, right? That makes
Almost.
that's a
Yeah.
great thing, right?
Yeah.
And doggone it, 40 hours, 72 hours before game time,
Girl.
okay? That low
Yes.
vibration snatches your voice.
Yes.
But if you notice,
That's how it
y'all,
happens, right?
y'all listen, if you listen to what just happened, in the process of her explaining the rule, did you notice her voice got stronger?
It did. Y'all hear this? Like, yes, like since we started, it's getting stronger.
Voice is getting stronger because you surrendered to it. And when we spoke of, if you want to capture someone's attention, whisper, and you went to the whisper, and when you came out the whisper, your voice was coming back stronger. See, we fight against stuff that we don't have to fight against.
That is amazing. It is stronger. Y'all hear this is live. Like this is a live conversation.
Live conversation, live
That's what,
principles,
like,
action,
those of you who are
live.
listening to this, like we normally we gonna go live next week, but we gonna make a little clip of this and
Yeah, it's a precursor.
um,
Just to let
it's
y'all
a
know
just a
with
precursor. Yes,
powerful folks up in the house. Y'all listen,
yes, that
listen.
part.
It easy. We keep it easy. But the fact that God would show it through my sister got her up here in her sexy voice. And then I'm like, well, it sounds sexy. Let's go with it. And then she like, but when did you ask me about that color? And just for those who are not
Uh,
familiar with what I'm talking about.
I text you about my voice. I believe it was Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I felt it going. I text you about the color yesterday.
Yesterday.
My voice didn't reach the height of its worst. Like I couldn't even say anything until yesterday. That's when usually I excuse me, I wouldn't text you about the
I know you
color.
wouldn't. That's why I thought it was interesting because I was like, okay.
Usually I wouldn't text you about the color.
Mm-hmm.
I'm following my promptings. And my prompting said text her and ask her what her favorite color is.
That's so good. Yeah. Well, and it's so funny. So to speak to that, just people like, what's up with this color thing? So in the wonderful world of medicine, the body has what we call energy cycles, energy centers, and people are like, what is that? You can't see it. Well, you also can't see air, but you need it to breathe. All right. So just to get rid of that one, all the naysayers.
Don't
Okay.
play with her. I'm telling y'all, don't play with her.
Oh, and the energy cycles that are located in the middle of the body and right down right down the center of the body. Each one has a vibration, but also has a sound and also has a color that is connected to it. There are seven. They're called chakras. Most people say chakras. because that's what we do. But it's chakras. And each one of those, there's a color that is connected to it. There's a sound vibration that is connected to it. Color, sound. There's also a function that each one of the chakras have. Now, the first seven are the primary ones, like primary colors, which hence each one of the colors also are connected with the colors of the rainbow, which is always a beautiful thing. Because if we remember in the Bible, when God said, when you saw a rainbow, that was going to remind you that he was near, right? So now we in June, which is Pride Month, and so now some people hear that and they go, but it was always designed to be something wonderful and a reminder. With that being said, the color blue, which is located in the throat area, in the chakra that is connected to the vibration of communication. Okay, that communication being voice, that communication being sight, that communication being sound. But what's interesting in what's happening right now is that, you know, communication doesn't always necessarily have to mean actual conversation. Conversation, words, right, are only 2% of how we communicate. If you've ever gone someplace and been around people that don't speak the same language, now Americans have a tendency, if you don't speak English, they think that if you speak louder, then all of a sudden you'll understand, like now and everything. That's not how it works. Or if a person has a disability, if you speak louder, that mean they're going to understand? No. But what is an automatic assumption, because if your voice goes higher, the vibration in that, right, it's a vibration, because now it's higher. It's like a drum. You beat it softly and you beat it louder, it's going to have a different vibration. So see, sometimes we do things as humans and we don't even realize we're doing it. But when you take that voice higher, it's because you want to be heard, not necessarily understood. So I think it's just interesting that in what has happened just in our first series of setting this wonderful thing up, when we talk about $1 million purpose, and that our inaugural introduction would start with my sister having to speak softly, right? I love it. I think it's great. I think it's great. I mean, I don't want voice to be wrong. I don't want you not feeling good, but it's
Right. And
amazing to
I,
segue into energy and purpose and what this platform is truly about.
that's so good. Thank you for sharing all of that information. I know that's going to be helpful for somebody. Certainly, I didn't think about it in those terms, but that was good. That was some good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I know you and I are excited about this platform,
Mm-hmm.
but for me, I know that I'm probably more excited about someone out there who's really going to open up and give themselves an opportunity to transform as a result of putting some of the frameworks that we have um, put together, and to help them begin to discover and develop and deploy their purpose. And so that's what I'm most excited about, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest, because I've done some stuff, and this is just like what we just finished discussing is just one of them. But I've shared with Tamiko Ruby J that some of the other things that have had led up to me even having a conversation with her to say yes, of what I've been able to create in my life as a result of frameworks and intentions that I follow. And I'm excited to see what others are going to be able to create as a result of giving themselves a chance to give full buy-in into a process that's going to absolutely change their lives.
Exactly. Exactly. And Marnita, speak to that a little more because the beautiful thing about what we have here and what I'm glad that you've invited me to join you in because this is something that you've been practicing for a while, but from what you shared with me and can share with the audience is that you have really put it in full effect. Like you pushing the throttle on this and how it is manifesting along with your spiritual consciousness. Like it is now. It is in the works. It is happening.
It is happening as literally as we speak.
Hmm.
It is happening. And how it happens is I had to first become aware of how I was operating because we are all operating off of some type of programming.
Hmm.
I had to start, let's just start there first.
Hmm. Okay.
And I had to realize like this programming that I'm operating off of is just generational baggage.
Mm.
I'm like, speaking from my side of the room, okay?
Hmm.
I'm like, my family is so much more than the way that we have been operating for generations. And I started to get kind of like uniquely discontented with how we were um, allowing ourselves to live below average.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
if I didn't become aware of that's really what I was doing, it's almost like one of those poems, I forget what it is, how you make yourself small to make other people feel comfortable to be around you.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I had to realize I wasn't doing it intentionally, but I was doing it unconsciously.
Mm.
And those are two separate conversations. But once I realized that, I said, this has to change. So I went through a whole deal of
Okay.
unprogramming myself. And I know this probably sound matrixy, and that's okay. You'll be okay. But I had to start listening to some stuff. There's this tool that I still use to today, which is Self-Talk Plus. It's a tool that you let it run in the background because everything that you are today is a result of you accepting intentionally or unconsciously programming from your environment, whether that be social, work, family, group, like just going to the grocery store, it really doesn't matter. Your unconscious accepts everything. And usually it's not the right thing.
Mhm.
Like you have to be aware that this is how you're operating. And so once I realized that, I said, I'm changing this. And it was a process. So I listen, I unprogram, and I start thinking about, I think and then I rethink about things because most times when you make a decision, it's really not you making the decision. The decision has already been made based on the programming that you're operating off. You just said whatever the program wanted you to say, and you think you made the decision. And that's not it. That's not what's happening because you're so busy. Life is like life, and right? You're so busy that you think you're calling on the shots. You're not calling on the shots. Your programming is calling on a shot unless you're aware of where you are in your now space.
Exactly. That part.
Yes.
This is really good because as you were speaking, when you talked about the programming and operating in that, your voice changed again. If you notice, that's when you started getting a little foggy in the voice. So the beauty in what you just said, and that is true. Um, and if you're a person like myself that has always pushed against the programming, like even at a very early stage, it was just like, it's not for me. You know what I'm saying? And so certain things, I shouldn't say everything, a lot, but um, and we spoke on this in our last session when that was made to when I was made to or tried to make to feel as though I was being defiant or disobedient or any of that. And that didn't resonate with me. Like, no, you know, I didn't necessarily say that I was younger, but I still did me. Um, it wasn't until I got older, excuse me, and made the decision, once I slipped up and had my son, and that was a oops. We've had that conversation before, he and I. But at that point is probably when I started being a little more obedient to so-called programming until it was just actually physically and spiritually uncomfortable for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because a lot
Um,
of programming are rules that we have made up to protect ourselves and our past in order to navigate the world and to be under submissive to other, like your parents. There are rules and regulations, right? But they're, excuse me, they're not serving us today.
but I love the fact too that you're wearing orange today.
Tell me about orange.
So orange is the second chakra, chakra. And it has everything to do with family.
What?
Family. Okay. The first chakra, which is red, or chakra, is red. And that's about ancestor history. That's about it's a bigger conglomerate in just the relationships that we have. It's a much bigger, it's the relationships that we have with our spirituality, with God, with our ancestors and that. But orange has everything to do with our relationship, to others, mostly family, friends, grandparents, things of that nature. So it's very interesting that you're wearing orange today, and even on your shirt you have eyes. But it's
I
wow, this
got eyes like they're winking at
yes,
you.
they're winking, and I was just like, wow, my sister. Okay, so yeah, it's beautiful that you would be wearing that today, and we're speaking about this. So
Fam.
you see, and see, you what you guys will realize throughout this series, especially in where I'm at in my practice now, the synchronicity or the ahas or nothing is for me a coincidence. Like everything has a meaning and it shows up like, wow, okay. Like nothing is by chance, you know. Um, and when we talk about watching words and not another thing, I don't necessarily, because programming has us calling things bad or good. We get to put what is bad or what is good. Okay. I'm not a pork eater. Okay. And the smell of pork drives me crazy, right? So do I use the word bad when I say, oh, pork is bad for you? No, it's not. It might be bad for the pig because it had to die. Okay.
Right,
But
right.
be bad for the person. But I'm bringing that up to say that um, I use words like a higher vibration or a lower vibration, right? So as we talk about rules, as we talk about boundaries or restrictions or even principle, when you mention words like this, I would challenge you to see where it falls. Does it feel like a higher vibration? Does it lift you up, or does it feel like a restriction? Does it make you draw back? Okay. Um, and even certain colors, right?
Because would you say that different words impact people differently?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, even from a coaching perspective, right? There are some people that they need systems, they need strategies, they need all of this to be able to follow a format, right? In order to get to a next level. So my I know in my style, because normally you'll coach or teach the way you learn, right? And there's 4 levels in how we learn. But I invite people to actually, the theory is definitely good, but I want to see some practical, and I want you to put some skin in the game.
Oh yeah. And I'm so glad you say that because listen, this is not about us. Mhm.
Exactly.
And you're gonna have to do the work.
Hmm.
Otherwise, because I don't want you to waste your time. And it's not
I
enough just
want you to
sit.
waste my time. How about that? I'm gonna start
Well,
with
Tamiko and I, we can do this anyway, but if you're gonna spend a half hour, 40 minutes listening to a conversation, at least give it an opportunity to have some impact in your world by applying the principles or the action steps that's gonna require for you to change, because that part we can't do for you. That part you're gonna have to do yourself.
And here's the beauty and the essence in that. Um, the prayer that I have in this, and that what happens is, it's like you said, okay, so as far as millionaire or million purpose, let's hit 1 million people. And if 1 million people just lean in and go, what if?
What if I was thinking that? What if?
What if? What,
Yes.
wait, what she say? What that little bald head lady say? What she say?
You're
What
so funny.
did she say? Wow, what did she?
Right. Yes.
So the what if you lean into that what if, because I know with our last session, a lot of people said they took notes. I heard from people I haven't heard from in years. Okay. And they said they were taking notes, which I was like, good. So what did I say? Um,
Right, because we are start talking and we'll go down a rabbit hole and work our way out of the rabbit hole and go to something else.
yeah, but that's the beautiful thing about life, and what is exciting for me and for where I see this is, like you said, being able to create a space that allows the opportunity for people to peek outside of that norm, and something in this conversation, in these conversations, I would say even provokes a, a level of curiosity that something could be different for them and something could be positive for them, and to
Yes.
think outside of the box, because we're going to put several different modalities in it, but understand. And as a friend of mine likes to say on a regular basis, hear me good. Like, can you hear me bad? I mean, but hear me good on this one, is that true peace, true abundance, true joy is available. And it's available in a place probably where you haven't looked at yet, and that's inside. And if you have all of those layers, right, that has buried that based on rules, regulations, or past life experience, this lifetime. Now, I'm not going back into reincarnation, I'm talking about now.
Yeah.
But when you think about the different levels that you've gone through as an adult, you start as an infant. You had to depend on a person to take care of you to even get you to toddler phase. And from toddler phase, when you were crawling, and then you started walking, or if you were like my son, you crawled and you ran. Okay, he didn't really walk. Okay, um, and so then these different. If you think about these different, a lot has happened
Yeah.
between the date that you were birthed to where you are right now, right? And if we put a timeline on that, whether we took it by years, by weeks, by months, by weeks, by days, by hours, by minutes, by seconds, you've probably been here a long, long time.
Yeah.
Okay. And so in that, whatever brought you to this platform, And what has you still leaned in, I hope, is there something that has you thinking, and I'm going to challenge you to say, what if? What if? What if I did something different? What if I allowed myself to just take the breath? What if I decided to actually look at a Bible verse? What if I decided to drink more water? What if I decided not? What if?
There are outcomes to each and every one of those.
Every last one. Every last one. And
Yeah.
so that's the thing, we're in a, you know, I'm hearing so many people right now talk about the times that we are in right now and that they're tough times and there's so much going on and there's war and there's murder and there's mayhem. But if we look at history, the only difference about right now versus history, and we could go all the way back as far as history goes. Some people will refer to the Bible as a historical document. Okay, that's cool. If you're looking at it like that, then that's okay. But then continue to bring it back to current, right? So apparently, history has a way of repeating it. What's different now in some of these other times that we've been in throughout mankind's history is we have cameras on everything.
Yes.
Okay. Racism is not new. We just have cameras on everything.
Yes.
Okay. Poverty is not new. All of these different things that are happening now are not new. There's been war all over different countries everywhere. The difference is we have cameras on everything. And if you zoom into that, and that because something, and it does grab you, it will take you down a rabbit hole,
Yes.
just like our last segment did. 400 people or 400 views, however, maybe it was 4 people and then all watched it 100 times each. I don't know.
No, it
Okay.
don't work like that.
Okay, I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
I'm just kidding, but I'm just saying.
Right, right.
Just like that. I'm using it as an example because if just like that grabbed your attention on a positive and on a higher vibration, the same thing can happen if you allow yourself to go low. You're going to bring that type of energy in there. Everything looks like hell and damnation. Okay. And that's where I'm going with that. And to say that what we're here to do is bring a level of consciousness that brings a vibration that's high. There's gonna be some stuff I'm sure we hit on. People will be like, what the what? What they talking about? We will give you references though, where to go check it out. You can have to do a little research.
You don't have to do the research because I would never say just like solely take our word on anything.
Please do the research.
Please do your own do your due diligence. Like get in like the a book, get in a book or something, so you can find out for yourself. Because everybody need to know it for themselves.
Exactly. And
'Cause
it's going
we
to be cool. It's fun. It's not going to be. It is cool. And what's fun, what I'm excited about too, is just some formats where you'll be able to kind of holler at us. You'll be able to talk to us directly. How about that? Get a forum
yeah,
together. We
speaking of that,
fun stuff.
our Facebook group is like, I looked at it this morning. My girl is on it. Like I looked at it, she got like 11, 12 people in there.
And we look coming soon. I told you
we haven't
that.
even got started.
I'm the queen of coming soon. We gonna get you in there. Like coming soon. Look, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
so the ones that see this will be like, but she ain't singing to me. Maybe
And
I did.
we gonna have some pop-ups in there, some pop-up lives in there, especially if you want to have like questions. It's a private Facebook group. So if you go to the Facebook group, Build $1 Million Legacy with Purpose, join. Either Tamiko or I will let you in, and I'm telling you, you don't want to miss the group. You really don't, because community is everything.
It is.
It's
It
not about us. Like I said before, community is everything.
And that yes, can we speak to that? Because
Yeah.
I really feel that, um, you know, society as a whole, and I'm jumping out there big on this one, where social intelligence was already a bit of a struggle for people even before COVID. After COVID, man,
Yes.
it it did a mental, oh my goodness, a mental tragedy on a lot of people. They don't know how to reconnect, and and probably in a lot of cases, whatever they were connected to before they went into isolation, coming out of the isolation, they're not trying to go back to that. You know, it
No,
was so funny when COVID happened. On a lot of people were like, "Oh, a lot of people gonna be pregnant." I was like, "Nah, a lot of people gonna be single." Okay,
that's exactly what has
that's
happened.
exactly what happened, because we were in this go go go, do be materialistic society, and you've been in a relationship with somebody for 20 years, you got the littles, everybody's going in their own direction, and now you've locked everybody down in one space. I mean, if you think about the penal system, when they want people to do hard time, they put them in solitary confinement, and that's when they by themselves. Now you're gonna lock them down with other people. If you were in prison, you probably would kill somebody. Okay.
Yeah.
And so now, even in the end, if you were by yourself and you were a person that was uncomfortable and wanted to be in relationship, now all of that. So just people are looking at doing things different. I saw something too. This was really interesting, where a lot of entertainers, some of the bigger name entertainers that are used to doing these big arena type events, they can't book them. People are not signing up for that stuff. They're like, nope.
Yeah.
I think
No,
the first person who did it smart was Miss B. But now, when people are like, yeah, no, no.
yeah.
So what it's saying is that, intimacy, right? And that's what's going to be amazing about our community, because we are going to be there with you. You're going to have like-minded people. And if for the people that say, well, how do you know? Because I know stuff. But the beautiful thing about the energy that's rest in my sister and I, Dr. Marnita and Tamiko, what rests with us is the realness, the rawness in who we are. And anything that not even anything, well, I will say anything or anyone that is, you have to be resonating at a certain vibration to be able to be in
To
a
stay
circle.
connected, even just to stay connected, because let me
Yeah.
tell you, there is no pretentiousness here.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
So if you're used to that, this community is not going to serve you well.
At
Um,
all.
at all. Right.
At
So
all.
what we're doing is like we have really chosen over the course of our lives at this point in our now space to live our true nature. And sometimes our true nature is too much for others. I get it. I understand, but that's not for us to manage. And
That's
that's
it.
for the other person to
It's,
manage. However you manage that, we good with that. But we're coming as we are. We are being very transparent, like very transparent. Um,
mhm.
for me to even be, like I said, I told Tamiko, like, I would have, like, I was fighting to do this anyway. She said, nah. She said, let's just have this conversation in the green room. I'm gonna call it the green room, okay?
That's it. Yes, I love that because I got that theater background, baby. That's where the
Right,
real show is. I'm surprised they
right.
had a
Let's
reality
have it
show
in the
called
green
The
room, and
Green
then we'll post it. And then when you come back like full throttle, like we'll do the live thing. I'm like, okay, girl, like
Yeah, because this is beautiful, because this gives us, like, you know, well, we don't do bloopers because we just whatever
Right.
we do. But this gives us that, like you said, when you sent it to me, and this is what's so cool about like the partnership. Like I can't believe I'm using that word because I'm issue. Your partner. Anyway, that was a moment. You got it. That was really a big deal. Anyway, I'm working on me. I'm a work in progress. I'm a work in progress. But what's so beautiful about um building the community and this is things like this, like because that was organic when you were like, sister, well, how you feeling? I'm like, I'm good. How you good? Because that people know when I say that, that's like you done came up in my spirit, like something's up, right? And so you was like, I got this raspy, but so I immediately started thinking about like Fran Drescher or somebody. I'm like, that might be hot though. Let's go with it. Because
Yes,
I'm like,
yes.
whatever shows up, especially with what we're doing right now, I'm feeling that energy like, okay, what's behind this? What is trying to block this, right?
It was definitely something trying to block a girl because, like I was telling her in the beginning, I have not lost my voice in over a decade.
Yeah.
So this is like, what in the world? Like, who doesn't want us to have this conversation? There is like something, we know who it is. Like, y'all don't
Yep.
play,
Okay.
that don't want y'all to hear the information that we are sharing in order to make you have an amazing life. An amazing life that you create, not like that we create, that you create based on deploying your purpose, discovering it for one, developing it for two, and deploying it for three. So you can create the life that you love. And it's nothing better. Like I get up every morning saying, I love the life that I live.
That part.
I really do.
Mhm.
Girl, I get to play pickleball every day. I get to do whatever I do, whatever that day brings my way. I always ask in the morning, I always say to myself, I make an affirming statement, something amazing is going to happen for me today. And every day, something amazing happens. When people see me at the pickleball court, they say, how you doing, Marnita? I was like, I am amazing. They look like, what? Because what you have to realize, we're talking about building $1 million legacy, right?
There you go.
And that for me is wealth in many different areas, right?
Exactly.
But wealth is spiritual.
Yep. It really is. Oh, come on,
Wealth,
come on.
wealth will not follow low energy. Wealth
Exactly. It
only
don't.
follows high energy. So when I ask you how you doing, you're like, I'm okay. I know you kind of like borderline broke on many different levels.
Mm-hmm.
Or when I ask you how you doing, oh, I'm above the dirt this morning. Well, I know you really broke now. You broke down in so many different areas. You need to,
Everything broken. You're
you're
broken.
broke in.
Broken. Mm-hmm.
So, like, based on how you respond to me, I can tell where you're living
Mm-hmm.
because you
I
can't fake that. That part you cannot fake.
no. I love that you say how you start your day. Okay. Because people do not understand and do not realize that how you start your day. Okay. Um, I had to be careful because people will start hitting me up because unfortunately they know like she don't always sleep. Like, yeah, well, I rest though. I might not be asleep, but I rest. I woke up a long time ago, so I stay woke. Anyway, um, but how you start your day, right? And if you can't start your or you shouldn't, you can do whatever you want, but you should be careful on how you start your day, right? It has to start with positivity. It has to start with nourishment. And it's the nourishment starts with the spiritual component on what you breathe in when you first open your eyes.
Yeah,
right?
right.
Because you breathe, you breathing throughout your sleep. When you wake up, okay, you lay there for a moment. Now, most of us will be like, well, when I wake up, I gotta go to the bathroom. Yeah, that's a bodily function, though. You give yourself a second or 30 seconds, you should be able to hold that for 30 seconds to set an intention on how you want to start your day. That gratefulness that you can get up and release yourself because there's certain people that can't.
Right.
Okay.
I want to share another important, I think it's important for me on how I start my morning every morning. I ask one of the most specific questions that I ask is I ask that I said, God, let your mind be my mind and let your ways be my ways, because your thoughts are higher than my thoughts and your ways are higher than my ways. I ask that. That's changed my life. I tell you, that part has really changed my life. That when I ask that every morning, I have this ritual that I follow now, and it's a pretty good one, and that's how I've been creating so many great things in my world. And I'm just sharing. You can use it if you believe it. Don't use it just because I use it. Use it because you believe it. It's substantive for you. It's a firm foundation for you. That's why you should use it. Not because I just wanted to share with you. That's what I ask.
Right. But you can use it too because you could use it with because what if? We back
What
to
if? Oh, let's go back to that what if statement.
okay. My sister just dropped a gem that this is something that is very simple. And these simple principles or these simple exercise, they seem simple until you try to do them every day.
Yeah.
You might get one or two in, and then something happens, and you gotta get up early, you gotta play catch, gotta do this, gotta do that. And you did
Yeah.
it twice in a row, and then it stopped. But to continue the consistency on staying focused on that
Right.
person that connects you to God every single day, but not by your will, but by his will, and you working together in the wheelhouse. Ooh, that's what I just heard with what you do. I
Yeah.
told you a little different than everybody else.
Right.
But just imagine in your wheelhouse, you got God pouring into that. Ooh,
Yeah. Yeah.
that part, that's really good, you know? Um, so it's those type of gems, you
Yeah.
know, and it's so funny because I want to share this one. We'll probably repeat it again in our first series, but you know, my name, like Tamiko Ruby Jenkins is the last name, right? I dropped Jenkins a long time ago. But growing up, I did not like my name because it was so different, you know. Um, growing up in, West 25th Street area as a young kid, and then, Union Kinsman area. It was tomato to flamingo. My family called me Tim, but Ruby, and it's a family name. I was named after a great grandmother. And it wasn't until I started truly coming into my spirituality and understanding biblical teachings, that it was really an honor. And then my grandmother came to me. I never met her in human form because she passed away after having my grandfather, right? So this is my great grandmother. And then I saw a picture of her, and it was the person that I saw in my dreams, right? So I'll never forget when I started going by Tamiko Ruby J. And it's because I saw a real ruby stone, not a garnet, because garnets are more pinkish on the middle, but a ruby. And I'm like, wow. So I got a Japanese name that means either, if you say Tamiko, it's warrior. If you say Tamiko, it's girl in love. And then my middle name is a Jim.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it took me 40 years to grow into my name. Okay. And so when we talk about words having power and words having principle, and I started understanding and accepting the blessing of what my name meant, this is where all of these other things were now. When I hear things different. Like what lies underneath that? What brings it to, what brings the spiritual, the biblical essence to that? Like I say to people all the time, um, I might not know every book in the Bible. I might not know every scripture in the Bible, but what I do know, and I know I feel very comfortable in saying, I know God. Okay. So that's what makes it fun now. That's why I giggle at a lot of stuff, because it's like, we.
So what do you want to leave? What do you want to leave our listeners with today, girl? You dropped so much today and it was so on point. What do you
Well,
want to what do you
you
want to leave them with
because
today?
you brought it. Like it was good. Because my sister was like, I was like, I got you. I got you. I ain't say that, but I said that
Yeah,
spiritually.
you said that. And you did. You
I,
did. You,
like
like
I got
I
you.
felt you, girl. I felt you.
I
Yes.
was, I was like, when we signed on, I was like recording. I'm like, let's go. Okay.
Let's go. That's because I did with I wasn't like it wasn't like I thought we was gonna get on and have a little combo and like close it down. No, but we are almost an hour into this and
There you go.
we put a
Okay.
lot into this, like was it prelude to
So
our
yes,
first
yes, this is the prelude.
precursor.
So
Precursor.
if we doing this as a prelude, okay, so this is what I want to give people, what I want to close with. So often in life, we feel like we have to have the things, we have to have things in order. We have to get it right. We have to have the notes. We have to have the money. We have to have this. Let this prelude show you that even when you set it up and you have everything in order, there's a strong possibility that something may happen to try to derail that, right? Do it anyway. Do it anyway. And especially if you blessed enough to have one person that's a friend or one person that believe in you, you best to do it anyway. Otherwise, you out of order.
Ooh. I
Right?
can't.
That's a Tamikoism. Quit operating out of order.
She just laid something on y'all. Yeah, I'm telling y'all, you have no idea what you in look what is you have no idea what you in look at you like you about to like jump into some stuff like you have no idea what's coming down the pipeline. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And now I'm gonna ask you, how you feeling right now?
I feel great.
I'm throwing that voice out.
I feel absolutely great.
There you go.
I do. I feel, oh my God. I feel because what you just said, it just kind of remind me, God kept saying it's gonna happen anyway. It's gonna
Do
happen
it anyway. Yep. Do
because he kept saying, he said, do it anyway, do it anyway. And when I text you just before we got on here, she said, you net at 100% capacity. But when you got on here, I was prepared to not do it. But you said, are you recording? I said, yeah. She said, let's just have a conversation in the green room. I'm like, okay. And this has been one of the most impactful. We didn't plan, like, listen, we didn't plan on
Listen,
this.
that's it. This was literally, we're gonna discuss, we're gonna have a meeting, but this is also to speak to the meaning of the minds. Because when you operate in true principality and you're on the same vibration, this is what happens. And what I will say to you, Dr. Marnita, y'all know my sister is Dr. Marnita. I call her Marnita, but that's Dr. Marnita. And she
I
became
like to say, Dr.
Marnita.
Marnita on fire.
Okay. And she became Dr. Marnita before folks was paying to be a doctor.
Yeah. Ooh, no, you dangerous, Cartier.
I'm just saying, I just call it out like I call it out
You
because
too much, girl.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
when that
We
part,
became a doctor in the 90s before Black people and not a in chemistry. So the
yeah,
chemistry in which she works in this whole platform of $1 Million Purpose, yeah,
Yeah.
So I have my sister, Dr. Marnita, that is structured. She has strategy. She has this, so she can reel me in when I go, you know. So this is an amazing thing. You have
I
no
love the
idea
collaboration.
the community that you guys are.
Community, the collaboration, the connection, the creativity, the courage that's come
Oh,
out of this room.
yeah.
Don't y'all listen. If you haven't joined the group, go to Facebook groups, Build $1 Million Legacy. It's easy. Just spell the last part right and you're in. And we can't wait to see, like, we are really like, it's not, we can't wait. We're looking forward to seeing you there. And until next Tuesday, right?
Until next Tuesday.
That's when we on.
Be blessed and no mess.
And no mess. And we'll see you next Tuesday.